come with another match analysis um, of a one day game. I'll be analyzing these one day games leading up to the World Cup in order to make you all understand that what are the small things which are happening within the teams, and what are the small tweaks which certain teams can do in order to um, go ahead and win matches. Now, I do it completely like a student of cricket with no ulterior motive. So sometimes my words might seem that I'm helping the opposition, but I just love the game of cricket, and I think the game of cricket is just not a physical game, it's a mental game, and it's like a game of chess, I feel. So you need to understand which players should play, when they should bat, which overs the bowler should bowl. So it is probably, in my book, it's probably one of the finest games ever made, and I don't think anything can substitute cricket as a game, because cricket is probably one of the greatest outdoor games created, and slowly the whole world is becoming aware of how incredibly special cricket is. Okay, so today I will be talking to you about yesterday's game, India Australia, which India won. I felt it just followed a set pattern, and the notable thing which happened was, of course, Mohammad Shami's spell. In my earlier videos, I have spoken a lot against Mohammad Shami. He completely silenced us with the bowling spell yesterday, and if Mohammad Shami can bowl like that throughout the tournament, throughout the World Cup's tournament, uh, I don't think we really have to worry. And one aspect, I'll be very frank with you. If I'm wrong, I will tell you, and I will acknowledge the fact that I've made a mistake. One of the main aspects which makes Mohammad Shami unique in the World Cup now, because I'm slowly starting to realize that, because this is not being uh, um this you cannot demonstrate or show when he's playing in Sri Lanka or outside India. But if you look at Indian pitches, then Mohammad Shami in on Indian pitches is one of the best bowlers India right now has, because he knows all the tricks, he knows all the pitches. He's the most experienced bowler in the World Cup squad. So from that aspect, Mohammad Shami truly is an asset to the team, and yesterday he made us realize that. His bowling was deadly accurate, and he maintained a very good line and length. What he compromises on his pace, because that is where I always say that Mohammad Shami is not actually there, because he needs to have a certain pace to trouble batsmen. He makes up with a nagging line and length, good accuracy, and he has certain tricks up his sleeve still now for all the pitches in India. So that is the reason why yesterday India really kind of sailed through the match. Of course, Shubman Gill played a great knot. As I told you, Rituraj Gaikwad, I am just so sad that I really don't know whether he will get a chance in this World Cup or not, because Rohit Sharma is the captain, because he will be opening. It is a dream for people to watch Shubman Gill and Rituraj Gaikwad open. And yesterday we saw that they are a force to reckon with, and both of them together can take India to amazing heights. They can actually, I'll be very frank with you. I feel Shubman Gill and Ishan Kishan, or Shubman Gill and Rituraj Gaikwad, we actually have two options. They can both be called, like, the Srikanth Gavaskar or Desmond Haynes, Gordon Greenwich kind of pair. They have the potential. These two pairs have the potential of becoming something like that, or for that matter, Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly. Ishan Kishan and Shubman Gill would be just amazing, because the left-right combination would be just amazing. And Ishan Kishan is better in the power play against pace rather than in the later overs against spin. He tends to lose the wicket at that point of time when spin bowlers come with a little alternating pace and bounce, because I don't know, he just doesn't know how to play at that point of time. Should he pace his knock, should he hit, or should he play slowly? He has some problems in the middle overs, even though he has played some very good knocks. But Ishan Kishan at the top would be brilliant. And Rituraj Gaikwad, I just don't know. It's just like, you can't really say for certain like whom you should take, because we've got such two good options, and that is Rituraj Gaikwad and Ishan Kishan. And Ishan Kishan is a great outfielder, and yesterday we noticed we how good Rituraj Gaikwad is. He's a very snappy fielder on long on. So I would say that the management should think a little bit about these things, because the World Cup is just around the corner. I am extremely grateful to Mr. Ajit Agarkar. I don't know whether he watched my video or not, but I had vociferously supported Rituraj Gaikwad's inclusion in the squad, and I was very happy to see that Rituraj Gaikwad is in the squad. And if Rituraj Gaikwad could somehow make his place into the squad, it would be just amazing. It's very unfortunate that Shreyas Iyer still hasn't hit form, so people could possibly think about that area, because he's in sublime form, Rituraj Gaikwad, and it would be a shame to waste him this World Cup. We cannot sit a player like Rituraj Gaikwad out. Again, I'm sorry, I'm digressing a little, but let's talk about Australia and where they went wrong, because that is the analysis, and this is a mistake which they have been doing for quite some time. So that's the reason why I would like to go ahead and point out this problem which they are facing and how they could probably solve it. Now, if you look at the whole scorecard, everybody has made runs in the Australian team, right? And I'll tell you what the Australian team plays like. They would rather go for they have told the team that fine, if one player can lay a sheet anchor and he can be there through the innings, that's great, but otherwise if you are there, try and make as many runs as possible. Try and make at least 30-40 runs fast with the time you get in 50 overs, because that's the only way we can actually reach 300. That is the usual kind of objective of the Australian players. They are sent with that plan that even if you go there, of course, lay the base, do whatever you feel like, but do you remember that you need to make that 40 to 45 runs or 35 to 40 runs as less number of balls as possible. Because if you've got 5 or 6 or 7 players doing that, then you are more or less assured of a score of 280 plus, and that's what they follow. But what they need to do right now is they need to actually look into the playing order, and there is something which they are doing absolutely wrong. And I'll tell you what it is. Firstly, Mitchell Marsh, David Warner. I personally think, I'm not. You see, Mitchell Marsh has played IPL here, but I feel the opening pair should be Travis Head and David Warner. Travis Head is an excellent batsman who's blossoming, and I think the sooner you play him, the sooner he gets a feel of the Indian pitches, the better. The problem which all the world, all the global teams are facing, all the cricket teams are facing around the world, that they want a batsman who can bowl also, or a bowler who can bat also. In the attempt to do that, they are losing out on the fact that on the utility or the usefulness of a specialist player, a specialist batsman or a specialist bowler, because they can actually do a lot of wonder to your team. So why I choose David Warner and Travis Head is because I feel Travis Head is a much better batsman than Mitchell Marsh. Number one. Number two, I think he's the future of Australian cricket, and he can hold that opening position for a long period of time. I've seen him play. He's got a very good technique, so he should be there. Secondly, thirdly, if you are talking about Indian subcontinent wickets, the only batsmen, I mean to say, there are two batsmen whom I feel have the most experience. Okay, when it comes to batting, and that is Steve Smith and David Warner. So it's a no-brainer if you leave David Warner out, because you saw him yesterday how he held on as soon as Mitchell Marsh fell cheaply, because he and Steve Smith could go ahead and hold the innings together, and they could add about 98 runs and go forward. It was very lucky that we could get him. We could get David Warner, because if they had crossed 100 with that opening partnership, we would have looked at a very, very huge score. Okay, so that is something which the management needs to immediately fix. They need to put in David Warner, and they need to put in Travis Head at the top. I don't think Mitchell Marsh should open. Mitchell Marsh is not a batsman who should open. One down, bring in Steve Smith. That is fine. After Steve Smith, now you need to think whether you want to put in Labuschagne or Mitchell Marsh. But I feel Labuschagne is an excellent player, very solid player. Again, he's a specialist batsman. He's not a bowler. But that is a gambit which the Australians need to take. That should we play Mitchell Marsh here, who can double in as a bowler, or should we go ahead with Labuschagne? Okay, I would say don't take Mitchell Marsh. Put in Labuschagne. Okay, there. So one down, Labuschagne comes, and after that, wherein the mistake is happening for all the Australians, you have to bring in Stoinis. If you don't bring in Stoinis at two down, then you're making a massive mistake, because Stoinis is a player who can completely transform situations, and he has the most experience in IPL when it comes to Indian conditions. So you are making a mistake of bringing Marcus Stoinis way down the order. By that time, for him to actually do some kind of damage control or accelerate the innings becomes a little tougher, which happened this time. He played a fabulous knock of 29 runs out of 21 balls. What happened was he was trying to push the pace and he lost his wicket. Now, if you give this person more opportunity or more time and he comes two down, he will get definitely a little more time in there, and he can actually capitalize better in the slog overs because his eyes will be set better. So I would say the top order should be David Warner, then Travis Head at the top, then Steve Smith, then Marcus Labuschagne, then you need to bring in Marcus Stoinis, right? Then Josh English, then you bring in Cameron Green, and the place where you've played Matt Short, you can think about incorporating Mitchell Marsh. You have to think whether you put in Matt Short or you put in Mitchell Marsh. Matt Short is an excellent batsman, by the way. Didn't play well yesterday, but he's a very good batsman. If you're looking at a complete collapse in the top order, he can actually come and stop the collapse. He's that good a batsman. But I wouldn't say that he's that effective as a bowler in Indian subcontinent conditions. I don't think he will do that well. So you have to take a gamble. If you put in Mitchell Marsh there, now Mitchell Marsh, I'm saying because he has still bowled more in Indian subcontinent. He has played some good matches where he has taken wickets. So if you put in Mitchell Marsh in place of Matt Short at that position, if there is a top order collapse, then Mitchell Marsh can come in and can go ahead and stem the rot. I know it's a little radical, the whole thinking process, but the key player here is Matt Short or Mitchell Marsh. You have to think about that. If you can decide on whom to play here, then your complete top order and everything gets fixed as it is. After that, you can definitely bring in, there is Pat Cummins, Sean Abbott, Adam Zampa. There are three players. But here again, this everything actually, even when you look at India also and everywhere else, it is one position which is the most critical one, which is coming at 5 down or second down. What do we do with the player there? Should we put a specialist batsman? Should we put a specialist all rounder, or should we go for a specialist bowler? What do we do now? I would say, if you ask me, if I was the Australian team, I wouldn't have taken Matt Short, or I wouldn't have even taken Mitchell Marsh. I wouldn't have. I would have rather gone for another fast bowler, because that's the strength of Australia. You take Hazelwood, you take Stark. I would probably go for Stark rather than Hazelwood. Okay, so if you have Stark coming in the bottom order, I would say put Pat Cummins up a little bit, because he really bats. He's probably the best batsman amongst all of them. So if you're looking at Pat Cummins, Sean Abbott, you have Stark or Hazelwood, and then Adam Zampa, because you need a spinner, right? And he really bowled well yesterday, Adam Zampa. You saw what he did. Now, there at that place, when the critical wicket, when the 6 down or 7 down happens, at that point of time, let Pat Cummins come into play, and then the bottom part, Sean Abbott can come, and then of course the last two you can put in Stark and Adam Zampa. Now you have to realize Pat Cummins is he's no sissy with the bat. As you saw yesterday, he actually accelerated quite well in the last 2 overs. He's quite good with the bat. So I think he should come up the order a little bit just after the 5 down or 6 down. I mean to say, when it comes to the whole established batting order collapsing, or everybody is gone, Pat Cummins should be the first person to come, because he can accelerate the scoring like anything. After Pat Cummins, you bring in Sean Abbott. Okay, after Pat Cummins, bring in Sean Abbott. Now you can actually go ahead and tweak this if you're batting second. See, Australia has a very set game plan if they are bowling second, if they are batting second, if they are chasing, right? Because they have a very deep batting order. The problem is when they are batting first. So if you are batting first, you will need to put in your best players, the best solid hitters, the ones power hitters at the very top. Okay, you have to follow the very concept of T20 only, because you put your power hitters at the top and they accelerate the scoring, and so that in the last 10 overs you can easily reach above 300. Your aim should always be 300. It is for any team who is batting first, and in order to do that, there has to be a certain degree or a certain mix of power hitting and technique. Yes, it shouldn't be totally power hitting in 50 overs, but some technique also. For that, to cement that part, you definitely have players like David Warner, Marnus Lebuchakne, Steve Smith there, who will be checking that at that point of time. Now, after that, the moment you have Travis Head, David Warner, Steve Smith, Marnus Lebuchakne, any three of them out, the first person you should bring, is Stoinis. If you are the whole team, the Australian team is making a massive mistake by not bringing him at 2 down, I mean to say 3 down, because that is going ahead and killing their scoring rate like anything. I'll tell you the reason why. You're bringing in Cameron Green at the top. How many runs has Cameron Green made? His strike rate is 59.62. Cameron Green has made 31 runs out of 52 balls, and you're bringing him out a 3 down, right? Look at Stoinis' strike rate, it's 138. He came in much later and he made 29 runs out of 21 balls. So Stoinis has to be brought up at 3 down. Once you bring Stoinis up 3 down, then after the next wicket falls, it could be Stoinis or it could be anybody at the top order. Then you bring in Josh English. Josh English is an excellent batsman and he can also accelerate the scoring quite well. After that is done, then go ahead and bring Cameron Green. I would say Cameron Green is a kind of a punt player. Like he really plays well certain days. He doesn't play well certain days, but he's a good cricketer who's coming up. But bringing him so up above is you're making a massive mistake because he's a young lad. He's making mistakes, and he is because amongst all the people, if you look at it, he's got the lowest strike rate when it comes to I mean to say the number of balls faced. I'm not going to take up Matt Shot's strike rate yesterday because Matt Shot's strike rate was 50, but look at Cameron Green's strike rate. Cameron Green's strike rate is 59.62 and he played 52 balls. That's quite a lot of balls. That's about nearly 9 overs. So you should immediately bring Cameron Green down the order and elevate Marcus Stoinis at the top. That is the only thing Australia has to do. Nothing else. Nothing else. In order to accelerate the score. Because right now, whatever you have a very set game plan. Okay, there is no other way we can go ahead and tweak it. What you are lacking or missing is, of course, one specialist spinner, but then everybody is missing that. In India, we are doing it with a makeshift way. We are putting in Kuldeep and we are putting in Kuldeep Yadav and Ravindra Jadeja. But yes, I don't consider Ravichandran Ashwin to be really effective in this World Cup. The wicket he took yesterday was also a very lucky wicket which just ricocheted off the pads of KL Rahul. So I really don't think he can make much of a difference because he's not right now. He doesn't have that bite in one days. Test matches, yes, but in one days, no. The only player we should actually consider is Chahal, but the stupidest argument which is being put forward is that he doesn't field well and he can't bat well. Now, yeah, there are a lot of people who can't field well, and like, what about our great wicketkeeper, Mr. KL Rahul? Yesterday we watched him keeping. It was horrendous. Of course, he has justified his position by really playing some very good knocks, and yesterday he played a very good knock and then captained the side, etc. So all sins are forgotten, and he's now a permanent fixture in the team. But it is very important to note that in close matches we need a very animated wicket keeper behind the stumps and who's very good. And KL Rahul right now as a wicket keeper is just it's horrible. He's just horrible. His wicket keeping is worse than the gully cricket wicket keeper we used to get. It's that bad. So he needs to really look into his wicket keeping. Otherwise, there is no okay. Fine, you're in the team. Fine, let Ishan Kishan go ahead and do the wicket keeping. You please be there in the outfield. No need to go ahead and do wicket keeping because wicket keeping is very important, and that can actually make or break the whole like team's morale and everything. And KL Rahul really does not come across as a good wicket keeper. His body language is everything. We've been treated to wicket keepers like Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Kiran More, these kinds of wicket keepers. Rahul Dravid, animated wicket keepers who are trying to make things happen. KL Rahul will stand and say, "Yeah, let the sky fall on our heads. What jo hoga dekha jayega," and all that. And it's very demotivating to watch him behind the stumps. I don't know what the Indian team thinks or feels, but I personally think KL Rahul, yes, he has justified his position. Again, I have to eat my words because I said he really does not deserve to be in the Indian team, but in the recent years, he has played some very good knocks. He's captained the side, all said and done. Yesterday, he captained the side to a victory. Fine. But please, all these are learning steps. These matches, if India wins the series against Australia, no one's going to remember it 5 or 7 years later. But if India wins the World Cup, we'll remember it. So what it did confirm yesterday was that KL Rahul is really not in his elements when it comes to keeping, and he should go ahead and give it to Ishan Kishan if he really can't do it. He's a good outfielder also. KL Rahul is not a bad outfielder. So let him do the outfielding. Let him be in the outfield, saving fours, sixes, this and that, rather than there in the behind the stumps. So it's just a thought. Um, I'm sorry. The more I discuss, I go into areas which involve India and everything. Um, so my the main reason, yes, again, which I told you, the main reason, it's a very simple thing. Main reason Australia lost yesterday, and the the fact that yes, it could have been a closer match was because Marcus Stoinis was not brought up the order. If Marcus Stoinis is not brought up the order at if I'm saying about two down or three down, then we are going to have Australia will keep on losing matches, because that is the difference between 20 to 30 runs, you know, at the end. Okay, so if he's just brought in the place of Cameron Green, lot of problems will get solved. Lot of problems will get solved. So and of course, I am I would tell the Australian management to think about that part, because I'm not sure whether Mitchell Marsh should be there or not. Like, uh, if Mitchell Marsh is not there, should because it's a very tricky thing which you'll have to think about. Should you play Mitchell Marsh or not? Everybody will say, how can I not play Mitchell Marsh? Because Mitchell Marsh is one of our best players. The argument should not be that why can't I play Mitchell Marsh because he's one of the best players Australia has. The question should be, do we require Mitchell Marsh in the whole team composition so that they can win matches? You have to answer that question. Does he actually figure in that team in that way so that he can win matches? And it comes down to two players actually right now. If I look at it as a maze, it actually comes down to two players, and that is Cameron Green and Mitchell Marsh. Whom should you play? It is very important to find an answer to that question. Should we play Cameron Green or should we play Mitchell Marsh? If you can decide on that, then this team is a very good team, but you still lack one specialist spinner. But then again, in all the teams, there is like a lack of one specialist spinner. It's lacking because they are not understanding how important and how critical it will be in the World Cup. 20 overs with two specialist spinners is going to make or break the World Cup, you know, and the person who realizes that is going to win the World Cup. Okay, so 20 to 30 overs, 30 overs even better, because there will be certain pitches which will turn, and that will be the those will be the clincher matches, you know. So bring Stoinis up the order, basically bring Stoinis in Cameron Green's place, and as soon as that wicket falls, bring in Josh English, and then bring in Cameron Green or Mitchell Marsh. You have to decide between these two, whom do you want to play. Okay, whom do you want to play? Now, should it be Mitchell Marsh or should it be Cameron Green? I'm not sure about, but you see, I yesterday they did not bowl Mitchell Marsh also. Now that is my point. You are taking him, and you don't have any idea. As India was cruising, why didn't you bowl Mitchell Marsh? Was he injured? Because you have to try out all the options. You've tried out all the six bowlers the Australians have, but they did not try out Mitchell Marsh. Why didn't you try out? Because Cameron Green was ineffective. He bowled 6 overs for 44 runs. He had probably the one of the second highest economy rate, that is 7.33, just after Marcus Stoinis. So uh, you you have to understand that what you want to do with, if you're not going to bowl him, then taking Mitchell Marsh makes no sense, right? So that's it. I hope you like the analysis. Again, to sum it up, bring up Marcus Stoinis up the order in the place of Cameron Green. Okay, that is the number one thing the Australians have to do. They have to decide whether you want to play Mitchell Marsh or Cameron Green. You have to really decide on that. Whom do you want to play amongst these two people? Or else don't play either of them and just bring in another fast bowler, because as it is, you've got a very deep batting order. I will not tell you to get rid of Sean Abbott, because he is a good fast bowler and he will learn. He will learn with time. So don't take out Sean Abbott, because he's a really genuine all rounder. So you can probably take out Mitchell Marsh and Matt Short, both these two players, right? Mitchell Marsh, Matt Short, Cameron Green. So basically, there are three players right now. So you can take out these three players, and your options will open up much more. And Marcus Stoinis must be brought up the order. So this is my analysis. I hope you enjoyed my analysis. The summed up points again, I am telling you, Australia lacks specialist spinners. Then the best you can do is bring in your pace quartet with Josh Hazelwood, Mitchell Stark, and Cummins bowling in tandem. That is your strength. Three of the best pace bowlers in the world bowling in tandem makes a difference, because all three have different kinds of tricks. Okay, so you bring in Hazelwood and your Mitchell Stark. Along with that, you've got Sean Abbott, and then of course you've got Adam Zampa, who brings in the flavor of spin. But an onslaught is relentless, because you've got four really good fast bowlers with you who can make a difference. So that is the way you should go forward, rather than thinking about bowlers who can bat, batsmen who can bowl, something like that. Bring in your specialist, bring in your strength. Don't say that okay fine, we will try and experiment with all rounders. If you experiment with too many all rounders, it doesn't work out. Okay, that is number one. Number two, Stoinis is the main player in your team, which is going to make or break a team. You see, in India we have Hardik Pandya, in Australia you have Stoinis. That is the comparison, I will say. That is the parallel I am drawing. You have to bring in Stoinis up the order just after, I mean to say, 2 down or 3 down, you have to bring in Stoinis and you have to give him more overs. Okay, and finally, nothing else. That's it. Please don't watch my video and hate me, because I'm just a student of cricket. I love cricket, and this is what I just wanted to analyze and tell you, because this has been catching my eye, and I just want to say it aloud. And it was had also certain snippets about what I think about the Indian team and everything, all that. But yes, this was more about where Australia is going wrong, and what they can do to actually fix it with a very very simple thing. Oh, finally, one last thing which I told you, which we talked about, was of course your opening pair should be Travis Head and David Warner. Please don't play around with that opening pair. You try to bring in anybody, you try to bring in Mitchell Marsh at the top, you are in for trouble. Mitchell Marsh is not an opening batsman. Mitchell Marsh is not an opening batsman. David Warner has the experience to deal with Indian conditions, and the very beautiful thing, the Australian and Harsha Bhogle said that he has actually been absorbed into the Indian culture. That flavor also spreads there. Warner loves India, and Warner loves the playing under Indian conditions. So it has a different kind of an effect on a batsman when Warner comes to play on Indian pitches. He has embraced the Indian way of life. So not taking Warner open the innings is a massive mistake for Australia. So you should not in any way take out Warner from the equation. If you bring in Travis Head and Mitchell Marsh, uh, chances of failure are more rather than Warner and Travis Head. So your opening batsman should be Warner and Travis Head. So opening batsman Warner and Travis Head. Second point, really bring in your strength, your fast bowling quartet, and get rid of these players, because I'm sorry I'm saying this word, I'm not saying get rid, but basically take them out, like Mitchell Marsh, Short, Martin Short, Cameron Green. I think these players you need to check how effective they are. Take them out, take two of them out, and bring in two fast bowlers, and keep one of them. Could keep Short. I would personally keep Short because he's an excellent batsman and he can check a late order collapse. And finally, yeah, brings Stoinis up the order. That's a no-brainer. Thank you. I think I just kept on repeating and reiterating something over and over again, but uh, sorry if I have done. But I just hope you've got the gist of it. This is what you with the Australians need to do in order to be a more effective cricketing unit, because they're losing by, I'll tell you, 10-20 runs. That is the difference, and that can be easily fixed. So thanks to you all. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel, Mr. Shopjani. I will be posting a lot of cricketing videos, and this is Frogozuro. He's saying bye to you all. He loves you all. You will get to see him a lot in my shorts. And thank you everyone. Bye, take care. I'll just have my juice, and oh sorry Frogo, and here's a wrap